Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'm so excited you're here with us today.
And I'm Bill. Whether you're learning English for school, work, or travel, this podcast is for you. Today's topic is super important if you want to sound more confident and natural when speaking English.
Absolutely. Today we're talking about something that almost every English learner struggles with at some point, pausing too much while speaking. You know those moments when you're trying to say something, but your brain just kind of freezes?
Yup, that awkward silence that makes you feel nervous. Or worse, makes the conversation feel uncomfortable. But guess what? That's totally normal, and there's a way to fix it.
Exactly. In this episode, we're going to help you understand why we pause, and more importantly, how to speak smoothly and confidently without all those stops and stumbles.
We've got practical tips, real examples, and even a little speaking challenge later on in the episode. So if you want to sound fluent and keep the conversation flowing, stick with us till the end.
Let's jump in and break it down. Why do we pause when we speak? So, Bill, let's start with the big question. Why do people pause so much when they're trying to speak English?
Great question, Sarah. The first and biggest reason is this: they're thinking in their native language and translating into English. That translation takes time, and it creates a gap in speaking.
Right, that makes total sense. I remember when I started learning Spanish, I would hear a question, then my brain would go, okay, what did they just say? Then, how do I answer that? And by the time I responded, the moment was gone.
Exactly. And that moment of overthinking creates hesitation. Another common reason is searching for the right vocabulary. Learners often know what they want to say, but they can't find the exact word fast enough.
And that's when the, what's the word, starts happening, right?
Yes. And let's not forget fear of making mistakes. People pause because they want to speak perfectly. They worry about grammar, pronunciation, or just sounding wrong.
That perfectionism can really hurt your fluency. It's like trying to write a perfect sentence before you even open your mouth.
Exactly. Fluency isn't about being perfect, it's about being natural. Another reason people pause is lack of confidence. If you don't believe in your ability to communicate, you'll hesitate more.
That's so true. Confidence plays a huge role in fluency. And sometimes learners pause simply because they haven't practiced speaking out loud enough.
Yes, speaking is a physical activity. Just like a sport, you need repetition to build speed and flow. If you only study grammar or vocabulary silently, your brain doesn't get trained to speak on the spot.
So to sum it up, we pause because of translating, searching for words, fear of mistakes, lack of confidence, and not enough speaking practice.
Right. And the good news is you can fix all of those things with the right approach. That's what we'll get into next.
Let's do it. Coming up, we'll talk about the science of smooth speaking and how your brain works during a conversation. All right, so now that we understand why we pause, let's dig a little deeper. Bill, can you tell us what's actually happening in the brain when someone is trying to speak English?
Absolutely. So here's the deal. When you're speaking your native language, your brain is like a superhighway. Words, ideas, and grammar all move super fast, automatically. You don't even think about it.
But when you're speaking a second language like English, it's like there are roadblocks on that highway, right?
Exactly. You've still got the ideas in your head, but the path to expressing them is slower. Your brain has to decode your thoughts, translate them, and then build a sentence in English. That process takes time, and that's where the pause comes in.
So it's not that learners don't know what they want to say, it's that their brain is doing extra work in the background?
Bingo! It's like running with a backpack on. You're still moving, but it's slower and harder. The goal is to train your brain to think directly in English so you don't have to carry that heavy mental load.
That makes sense. So how does someone train their brain for that?
Great question. First, you have to practice what we call automatic recall. That means training your brain to instantly access common words and sentence patterns, just like how native speakers do.
Kind of like how we don't think, I am going to the store, we just say it naturally?
Exactly. Fluent speakers don't build each sentence from scratch. They pull from patterns and muscle memory. And the more you practice speaking out loud, the faster those pathways form.
So the science really shows that fluency is a skill, not a talent. It's something you can actually build.
Yes, 100%. Think of it like playing an instrument. The first time you try, you're slow. You stop a lot. But the more you play, the smoother it becomes. Speaking English is the same.
I love that comparison. So if you feel stuck, don't worry, it just means you need more time with the instrument.
Exactly. Practice leads to automatic speaking, which leads to fewer pauses and more confidence.
All right, up next, we'll talk about some of the most common mistakes that cause those awkward pauses and how to avoid them. All right, so we've talked about how the brain works and why speaking fluently is a trainable skill. But Bill, let's talk about the things that actually make people pause more. What are the common mistakes English learners are making?
Oh, there are a few big ones. Let's start with this one. Thinking too much about grammar while speaking.
Ah, yes, trying to make a perfect sentence every time, right?
Exactly. Learners get stuck because they're focused on the rules instead of just communicating. And when they pause to think, is it have eaten or ate? The flow breaks.
That's such a trap. I always say it's better to speak imperfectly and keep going than to speak perfectly and freeze.
100% agree. Mistake number 2 is overloading your brain with new words. A lot of learners try to use fancy vocabulary, but if those words aren't natural for them yet, it just slows them down.
Right. You don't need to sound like a professor to speak fluently. Use the words you know well.
Exactly. Mistake number 3, not practicing aloud. Many people read or listen, but don't actually say the words. That leads to pausing because their mouth and brain haven't practiced working together.
That's a good one. I always tell my students, reading and speaking are two different skills. You've got to train both.
Definitely. And here's another big one, trying to translate every sentence from your native language. This causes huge delays in speaking.
Yes, that's the silent killer of fluency. Translation just slows everything down.
It's better to learn short phrases in English and use them directly, like, I think so, it depends, or let me see. These are quick and natural.
So, to recap, thinking too much about grammar, using unfamiliar words, not speaking out loud, and translating everything, these are major fluency blockers.
Exactly. But the good news is, these are all fixable with the right habits.
And that's coming up next. We're going to share some powerful tips and techniques to help you speak smoothly without pausing. Okay, this is the part everyone's been waiting for, practical tips to stop those pauses and speak smoothly. Bill, want to kick it off?
Absolutely. Tip number 1 is simple but powerful. Think in English. It's hard at first, but if you can describe your day, your feelings, or your surroundings in English, in your head, you'll build fluency faster.
Yes, start small. When you wake up, just say in your mind, I am getting out of bed. I am brushing my teeth. Those tiny phrases train your brain to stop translating.
Exactly. Tip number 2, use sentence starters and fillers. These are your safety net when you need time to think. Phrases like, well, actually, let me think, or that's a good question. Buy you time without silence.
That's a game changer. Instead of going, you sound confident even while thinking, like native speakers do.
Tip number 3, practice with chunks, not single words. Learn and repeat full phrases like, I'm not sure about that, or I haven't decided yet, instead of building them word by word.
Fluent speakers don't invent new sentences every time they use ready-made chunks. It saves brain power and sounds natural.
Tip number 4, shadowing. Listen to native English speakers, pause the audio, and repeat exactly what they say, matching their tone, speed, and rhythm.
Shadowing helps with speaking speed, pronunciation, and rhythm. It's like language fitness training.
Yes, and here's tip 5, record yourself speaking. You can use your phone to record yourself answering simple questions like, what did you do today? Or, what's your favorite food? Then listen back and see where you pause.
That's such a powerful way to track progress. You'll hear your own hesitation points and then fix them.
Tip 6, speak more, read less. Many learners spend hours reading and forget to actually speak. But fluency comes from using your mouth, not just your eyes.
Yes, even talking to yourself counts. Describe what you're doing around the house in English. I'm making coffee, I'm cleaning the table, it builds flow.
And finally, don't be afraid of mistakes. Perfection is the enemy of fluency. Speak first, fix later.
I love that. If you wait until you're perfect, you'll never speak. But if you practice speaking now, even with mistakes, you'll improve faster.
So let's recap those tips real quick. 1. Think in English 2. Use sentence starters and fillers 3. Speak in chunks and phrases 4. Do shadowing practice 5. Record yourself. 6. Speak more often 7. Don't fear mistakes.
If you start using just 2 or 3 of these tips daily, you'll start speaking with fewer pauses and more confidence within weeks.
Coming up next, we'll show you how to build daily habits to keep improving your fluency long-term.
All right, now it's time for a quick live demo. If you're listening at home, we want you to speak along with us, yes, out loud.
Don't worry about being perfect. This is all about practice. We're going to show you how to answer a simple question using fillers, sentence chunks, and thinking in English.
Okay, Bill, I'll ask you first. What do you usually do on weekends?
Okay. Well, usually on weekends, I try to relax. Let me think, I often go for a walk, maybe watch a movie. And sometimes, if I have time, I like to read a book or meet friends. See? I didn't rush. I used fillers like, let me think, and chunks like, I like to.
Perfect. Now let's switch. Sarah, what's your favorite food? Oh, that's a good one. I'd say my favorite food is probably pasta. Actually, I love Italian food in general, especially when it's homemade. It just tastes better, you know?
So good. Notice how Sarah didn't pause awkwardly. She used phrases like I'd say and actually to sound smooth and natural.
Exactly. And now it's your turn, dear listener. We'll ask you a question, and you try to answer out loud using what you've learned.
Here's the question. What do you like to do in your free time? We'll give you a few seconds. Ready? Go ahead and speak.
Great job. Even if you stumbled, that's okay. The key is keep speaking. The more you practice like this, the less you'll pause.
Exactly. Make speaking practice part of your day. Even 3 minutes like this can make a huge difference.
Coming up next, we'll talk about daily speaking habits that can help you get fluent even faster. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to talk about something that often gets ignored: your mindset.
Yes. Learning to speak without pausing isn't just about technique. It's also about believing you can do it.
Exactly. Many learners stop themselves before they even start. They think I'll never sound fluent or I always make mistakes. but that mindset becomes a block.
Here's the truth. Everyone pauses sometimes, even native speakers. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be confident and clear.
That's right. Progress happens when you show up every day, speak a little more, and forgive yourself when it's not perfect.
Your fluency is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. Don't compare yourself to others, just compete with yesterday's version of you.
So, if you're listening right now, we want to remind you, you can speak English fluently. You just need the right habits and the belief that you can grow.
And we're here to help you every step of the way.
All right, listeners, now it's your turn. We've got a quick challenge for you.
Here it is. Today, record yourself speaking for 1 full minute in English without stopping. Choose any topic. Your day, your favorite food, your weekend plans. Use sentence starters, fillers, and chunks like we showed you.
Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on speaking without pausing. And here's the twist. Do it again tomorrow. Then compare the 2 recordings.
You'll be surprised how quickly you improve. And if you're feeling brave, share your recording on social media and tag us.
Also, don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode of the English Learning Podcast.
And leave us a review. If you found this helpful, it really helps more learners find us.
That's it for today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. Thanks so much for spending your time with us.
Remember, fluency doesn't come overnight. But with daily practice and the right mindset, you'll get there faster than you think.
Keep speaking, keep growing, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, speak bold.